Welcome to Spirited Investigations and welcome to Georgia's Haunted History. This list of 10 is part of a playlist of gentle listening spooky collections from across the USA. The screen fades to black so you can enjoy the stories without distractions. Please do consider a like and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. First, in northern Georgia lies Lake Lanier, a man-made reservoir with a sinister reputation. To create the lake, over 250 families were displaced and entire towns, including cemeteries, were submerged. Beneath its waters rest ghost towns, their structures mostly intact. The lake has been the site of numerous unexplained accidents and drownings. People often report feeling unseen forces pulling them under, and there have been sightings of a woman in a flowing blue dress. More than 200 people have died in swimming and boating accidents on the lake since 1994. Story 2 takes us back to 1946, when downtown Atlanta's 15-story Winecoff Hotel was engulfed in flames. The fire claimed 119 lives in what became the deadliest hotel fire in US history. Although it was deemed to be fireproof when built in 1913, the building lacked essential safety measures, including fire extinguishers and smoke alarms. Smoke and flames ripped through the stairwells, trapping many guests. 400 firefighters and 12 ladders weren't enough due to the height of the building. The ladders would only reach up to the 8th floor. Today, operating as the Ellis Hotel since 2017, guests and staff report ghostly apparitions, the scent of smoke, and unexplained sounds, suggesting the victims' spirits may linger. Even while being renovated, construction workers complained about their tools mysteriously being moved or going missing. The elevators in the building are said to move on their own, going between floors without being summoned. Staff members have also noted that the hotel switchboard sometimes receives calls from unoccupied rooms. All of this after being recently refurbished. At number 3 we have Savannah's Old Candler Hospital. It was established in 1804 and is one of the city's most haunted sites. The hospital's morgue tunnel used to be used for transporting the deceased. It's said to be a hotspot for paranormal activity. Part of the building looks like a medieval castle with solid walls and a top section sporting cutouts between the brickwork. During the Civil War, the hospital served as a critical healing centre for soldiers from both the Union and Confederate sides. However, due to the lack of medical knowledge while it was open, shock therapies and other inhumane treatments were common well into the 20th century. Experts like Dr. Emily Thompson and teams like the Paranormal Society of Savannah have gathered compelling evidence to support the haunting claims of the morgue tunnel. Their accounts include unexpected cold spots, fleeting shadows and clear EVPs. Also, a large oak tree on the property is rumoured to have been used for public hangings. Story 4 takes us to Columbus. The Crybaby Bridge is shrouded in legend. The story goes that a family had no way to support a 5th child, and the father made a deal with a doctor to kill the baby at birth. Apparently, the mother had no idea of such an arrangement. At birth, the doctor took the baby to the bridge and flung it into the water. Locals claim that if you stop on the bridge at night, you'll hear the cries of the baby and see the ghostly apparition of the mother looking for her child. A very sad one. Story 5, the halfway point on our list. The Fox Theatre opened in 1929 and is one of Atlanta's largest event and performance venues. Legend has it that a girlfriend of one of the theatre's managers passed away and her spirit lives in the backstage elevator. There are countless reports of the elevator working on its own, usually travelling between the 1st and 4th floors. Some people who tour the Fox Theatre claim to hear strange noises coming from various parts of the building. If you're quiet enough and standing on the main stage, you might hear the infamous footsteps that come from the audience seats. The massive organ, nicknamed the Mighty Mo, is one of the theatre's most popular items, especially after it was recently restored, to preserve its 3,634 pipes. One of the earlier organists died and had his ashes scattered around the organ. The legend goes that you can sometimes hear him playing his beloved instrument on quiet nights. At number 6, according to local folklore and legend, an evangelist preacher came to Augusta in Georgia and wanted to preach on a corner near the market, but was denied the chance to preach at that spot. After being denied, the preacher declared that a great wind would destroy the town except for one pillar that stood at the place he wanted to preach at. That concrete pillar, standing some 10 feet high, was all that remained of the farmers' market area from the 1800s. Every time workers tried to remove it, they'd be struck by lightning bolts or suffer freak machinery accidents. Augusta's haunted pillar remained on that spot until 2016, when it was struck in a car accident, and, despite it now being gone, tales of misfortune still befall those who disrespect the site. The story is somewhat muddied by revelations of that pillar being a copy, not the original from the 1800s, and built by a local business owner. You have to wonder who was able to pull the original down. For number 7, we have a family home in Surrensey, southeast Georgia, that was plagued by poltergeist activity in the 1870s. Objects moved on their own, disembodied voices were heard, and the family witnessed apparitions. Their clock would strike 13, while the hands whizzed around the clock face. One report states the metal of their dinner forks would twist around on itself too. The disturbances were so severe that the family eventually abandoned the house. It remained a popular destination for inquisitive people, though, until 1925, when it burned down. Also in the same area is the Surrensey Spook Light. A yellow ball of light is seen hovering over the train tracks. This ghostly light has been spotted since the early 1900s and is still seen today. Many people go searching for the famous light, with some actually witnessing the event. I do wonder if it's related to the events of the family, with their bizarre poltergeist-affected house. At number 8, the Moon River Brewing Company is a popular brewery located in what used to be one of the most haunted hotels in Savannah, Georgia. I don't know that I've tried their beers. I'll have to have a look out for those. Formerly known as the City Hotel, the building was used as a hospital during the Civil War and during the yellow fever epidemic. The hotel also witnessed a deadly shooting in 1832 when James Stark, a well-known drunken troublemaker, was shot by Dr. Philip Minus. Some locals say that Stark continues to be a nuisance nearly 200 years after death, haunting the guests and employees of the Moon River Brewery. The location's been featured on popular paranormal TV shows like Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures. At number 9 is the Victorian-style Windsor Hotel, built in 1892. It's a haunted hotel, located in the small town of Americus, Georgia. The story goes that a young girl and her mother, who was the original housekeeper, died in the hotel after being thrown down an elevator shaft, and their ghosts are said to haunt the hotel to this day. The hotel is still open and offers the chance to witness a strange phenomenon during an overnight stay. That is, hearing bone-chilling screams in the hallways at all hours of the night. The screams sound like those of a young girl, and they end quickly, as if she's reached the bottom of the elevator shaft. Finally, we have the story of Savannah's Marshall House, which was also used as a hospital during the Civil War and is reputedly haunted by former patients. Guests report hearing children running in the halls, faucets turning on by themselves, and encountering apparitions in period clothing. Located on Broaden Street, the hotel was restored in the late 1990s. During that work, some damaged floorboards were being replaced downstairs when workers found human remains. The area became a crime scene, but soon it was learned that the downstairs had once been the hospital's surgery room, leading historians to believe that the bones came from amputated limbs of Civil War soldiers. Keeping them around on the property does seem a bit, well, odd though. Anyway, on the 4th floor in the hallway, loud noises are known to happen in the night, like the thundering of a heavy object crashing to the ground. Also, doorknobs to the rooms on that floor tend to wiggle, as if someone's attempting to enter the room. The sound of an old-fashioned typewriter is also heard, coming from the room rented by Joel Chandler Harris, known for his Uncle Remus stories. Another sighting is of a ghostly cat, while another is of a woman in the hallways. That woman was once seen by a young girl who was attempting to describe her to her father. They arrived at the front desk and she pointed to the painting on the wall. That was the woman she had seen. The portrait was of Mary Marshall, as painted in 1830. Thank you for joining us on this eye-opening journey through Georgia's haunted history. From cursed lakes to ghostly apparitions, the Peach State is rich with such tales. I hope you'll join us for the next one.